Good morning students, page number 21. Applications of Gauss's law. Actually there are three applications of Gauss's law. The first application, electric field due to an infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. So consider an infinitely long straight wire in free space. So this straight wire we are imagining to be suspended in free space having uniform linear charge density lambda. The unit of linear charge density is coulomb per meter. We need a point where we want to find out electric field. P is a point at a perpendicular distance r from the wire. Okay, this is the picture. So we are considering an infinitely long wire which is charged positively, and it is charged uniformly. So total charge on the wire is Q, a large value, and we are telling about lambda, but it is consider 1 meter length of the wire. So in that 1 meter length, what is the charge value? The charge value on this region only, that is 1 meter length, is called lambda. We take it as lambda. So the unit will be coulomb per 1 meter or coulomb per meter. And we want to find out the electric field at a point P, which is at a straightaway distance r from the charge. So to calculate the electric field at the point P, imagine a Gaussian surface in the shape of a cylinder. It is having a length, this length L, and radius r, so that such that P is a point on its curved surface. Okay, while taking the shape of the Gaussian surface, one thing is the Gaussian surface should have a point that we are interested. That is, the point P should be a point on the surface. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, at the point P, the electric field lines should be perpendicular to that surface. And the third thing is, there should be some charge within the Gaussian surface. So this much charge is within the Gaussian surface. So we are taking the shape of a cylinder. So we are interested in this much charge only, which is spread on a length L. Okay. Since electric field lines are radially outwards, flux through two end surface, we take those surface area as ds. This is one ds area, circular one, and this is another ds area. Is 0. That is, there is no flux through these two end surfaces. So that can be explained like this. So look at this figure. So we can take the area as 3 for a cylinder. There is curved surface area. This is curved surface area. The electric lines are coming out like this, penetrating through the surface. These are the lines coming out of the curved surface area. And these are the two end surface areas, which is circular in shape. See, the lines are passing along the surface, not penetrating, not passing through the surface. It is passing along the surface. So what is the flux through this area? That is 0. What is the flux through this area? That is also 0. There is electric lines penetrating through this curved surface only. So that we only counted for flux. Okay, so what is a curved surface area? The area is r is a radius. So 2 pi r 2 pi r, that is a perimeter, into L, that is 2 pi r into L, that is a curved surface area of the cylinder. Okay, so there is no flux through two end surfaces, only flux through, there is only flux through the curved surface area, and the curved surface area is 2 pi r into L. Now we are going to find out the flux through the curved surface area. The flux through the curved surface area we denote it by the letter phi, and that is equal to electric field E into curved surface area. So how it comes? So at the point P, let E is the electric field. E is the electric field. So what is electric field means? Suppose we imagine unit area centered at this point, 1 meter length, 1 meter breadth. The number of lines passing through this area is called electric field. Number of lines passing through 1 meter square is called electric field. But we have got this large surface area. So what is the total flux? Flux lines passing through unit area into our area, that is curved surface area. So that is written as here. The flux is equal to electric field into the curved surface area. So flux equal to E into 2 pi r L. So that is equation number 1. Now we will write another equation for same flux. So that we take the help of Gauss theorem. By Gauss theorem, flux equation is Q by epsilon 0. Remember that Q is the charge within the cylindrical Gaussian surface. Q is a charge which is only along the length L of the wire. We are not counting the charge here or counting the charge here. We are interested only on this much charge, that we call it as Q, this much charge only. So that is Q. So on the length of the wire. Then lambda, charge per unit length. Lambda, how we can find out lambda? Lambda is charge on L length of wire, that is Q divided by L itself. So from that Q equal to lambda into L. So lambda is charge per unit length of the conductor wire. So the equation becomes, this equation becomes, instead of Q we will write lambda into L. Instead of Q we will write lambda into L. So equation becomes phi equal to lambda L by epsilon 0. So that is equation 2. So we have got two equations for the same flux phi. So now what we do? So we use the equation 1 and 2, combine them. So after combining, writing in with an equal sign, we can cancel the L from both sides. Now our aim is to find out the electric field, is it? Our aim is to find electric field E at the point P. So electric field at P, due to uniformly charged straight conductor is, we will modify the equation for E. E equal to, this term will go in the denominator, that is 2 pi r will go in this denominator. So E equal to lambda by 2 pi r epsilon 0. And what is the direction of this electric field? The electric field is acting radially outward. You have already seen, this is the electric field, it is acting radially outward. And the unit of linear charge density is coulomb per meter, because it is not the charge, it is charge per unit length. So the meter is a unit of length that comes in the denominator. Okay.